Parshat Toldot shows how God's promise prevails in the next generations after Abraham, in spite of human twists and turns. In a nutshell, it's about twins struggling from birth, Jacob and Esau. Esau, the oldest, despises his birthright and sells it to Jacob with an hasty oath. But God's oath of blessing to Abraham is confirmed to Isaac. And finally, instigated by his mother, Jacob tricks his father Isaac into giving him the blessing of the firstborn. When we read it, the question arises, why does Jacob get the blessing and not Esau? What is it that really determines this? Parashat Toldot is a cautionary tale of two brothers. First meet Esau, a hairy and reddish hunter, a rough and impulsive character, who only seems to live in the here and now. And then meet Jacob. In the Hebrew, he's called an ish tam. You can even translate that as a blameless man. But in this context, it means more a peaceful, quiet, more mild character. He's a more rounded individual. He's literally and figuratively more smooth. But not just in the positive sense of the word. He captures the moment when Esau is tired and makes him sell his birthright with an oath. And also, infamously, deceives his own father. God frowns upon this. Later, Jacob is confronted with a taste of his own brand of deception, as he is himself tricked twice. First into marrying somebody he doesn't want to, and then by his own sons, who make him believe Joseph is dead. But back to reddish Esau, who wants instant satisfaction and who sells his birthright for some red lentil soup. This is the birthright of being the firstborn into the family to which God promised amazing blessings, to which God promised his covenant, even that he would be their God. This birthright is something holy, but Esau thinks nothing of it. He completely lacks faith. And then he loses his birthright blessing. When he realizes he lost it, he cries out and wails. But it's too late. A cautionary tale. Do we cherish God's promises as holy and precious or not? A neglect of the precious promise of God, which is in the end the messianic promise. Neglect of that leads to wailing and terrible regret when it's too late. But now Jacob again. Does he get the blessing in the end because he's a more rounded individual, an ish tam? Not really. Yes, he clearly does value the promises of God more. But the way he and his mother try to obtain them is not an example of godliness. They don't wait for God, but try to obtain God's promises by human effort. And just as before, when Abraham tried to do things his own way, when he took Hagar as a concubine, it leads to serious family trouble. Esau wants to kill his brother, and Jacob has to flee far away. through this all too human story, God's purposes stand, as they are the ultimate determining factor. In the end, it's not that Jacob is better than Esau. It's about God's gracious choice for Jacob. We read it at the beginning of the Parsha when Rebekah seeks God and is asking why the twins in her are struggling so much. God says it. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples within shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other. The older shall serve the younger. That's ultimate. God's free and gracious choice for Jacob. That's what prevails through all the human twists and turns. God's gracious choice and the oath of his promise. That's what we all should rely on. Doing that will save us a lot of trouble and will give us shalom. Our hope is in God stepping in. It's in God stepping down, even. We see this with Jacob, when he has literally hit rock bottom because of the trouble he caused. But that's in our next Parsha. For now, if you want to react or talk with us, don't hesitate to do so. Shalom.